We're here with Miro Copic from SDSU and Bottom-Line Marketing for the Friday Business Report. Miro, welcome.
Thank you, Susan.
Let's start with SeaWorld's. Business has improved since the blackfish controversy, and this week the company announced the hiring of a new CEO. How does this fit into SeaWorld's strategy of evolving its brand?
You know, they hired a new CEO from Carnival Cruise Lines, of all things. Big focus on travel and leisure. He had helped Carnival with a big turnaround that was very similar to SeaWorld's. So this is going to be a first-time CEO role for him, but he comes in, the current interim CEO, John Riley, who used to run SeaWorld San Diego, is going to remain as COO, a position that he held before stepping up as the interim CEO. So it'll be a good blend of experience of Riley understanding the actual SeaWorld culture and theme park dynamics. The new CEO brings in a lot of new ideas. He is a consultant from Boston Consulting Group before he came to Carnival, so he knows strategy, and SeaWorld is looking for strategy. They're looking for vision, and Riley brings in the operations, and I think combined they're going to really help the turnaround that's already been started to improve in 2019 and 20.
General Motors, they plan to have EV technology in all of its vehicles in the next few years. Should we expect more of this from other automakers? You know,
GM is a little late to the party. You know, everyone's kind of looking at Tesla. They've really kind of turned the industry. For a long time, the production and EV technologies were a little bit behind, and car companies weren't looking to invest. GM even said with transitioning over to electric vehicles, it's going to be into the early 2020s when they're going to be profitable. And they're starting with the Cadillac brand, which is a higher price brand, kind of like Tesla. And so that's a good start for GM. They're behind because Volvo announced a couple of years ago they're going to go all electric by 2020. Ford announced earlier in the year that they're going to go all electric. And car companies are going through a big transformation. So not only electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, relationships with rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft, and then even they're becoming technology companies with their relationships with Apple and Android to making these entertainment systems and GPS systems effective in these cars. So big news for GM, and they're hoping to be profitable by the early 2020s.
And finally, the Trump administration is rolling back some rules on payday and other high-risk lenders. How will this affect people seeking short-term loans?
Well, actually, it'll improve the access to credit for consumers. But the issue is not whether there's more credit available, it's whether these people can actually pay the loans back. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau set up these requirements for payday lenders to make sure that borrowers can actually pay this back. Because they did a study that said 1 in 4 borrowers of payday loans would take a $500 loan, it would get rolled over for about 5 months, and they would pay more in fees and interest than the loan itself. So to protect consumers, they required these borrowing requirements. The Trump administration says these borrowing requirements are too restrictive. So they're going to ease them, and it's going to offer more credit to all sorts of consumers. The concern here is that it creates an underclass of consumer in the marketplace that's kind of beholden to these short-term loans. In the last 2 years alone, over 10 million millennials, so those between the ages of 20 and 35, have taken out a payday loan. You know, they're swimming in college debt, and they're trying to find ways to kind of bridge the gap. This is a bad start for people who are in the beginning of their career trying to build credit, trying to build kind of their savings, and they're spending a lot of that money on really high fees and interest.
Okay, Miro Copic, marketing lecturer with SDSU. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Susan.